Welcome back. Is the Conservative leadership race about to get one more contender? According to an Ontario court, maybe. Jim Carhalios, the well-known Ontario Tory insider and activist, has been embroiled in a legal battle with the federal Conservative Party after they booted him out of the leadership race for allegedly making bigoted remarks. So, is he planning on a comeback, making it a five-person race as opposed to the four? Let's find out. Jim Carhalios joins us now. Jim, thanks for joining us, and always good to have you on the program. You won the court battle. Are you going to re-enter the race?
Well, I hope you didn't forget about me, Evan. There's a lot still left unanswered, and we haven't heard from the party officials running the race and whether they're going to comply with it. You know, I've got donation money stuck at a post office in Ottawa. I need a donor portal online to collect donations, and I've got 2 weeks to raise $100,000, which makes my buy-in $400,000, the other candidates at $300,000. So there's still a lot left to be said for the rest of this race, and whether the party officials will play ball and give me a level playing field like the other candidates have had for the rest of the way. But for now, I won in court today, and the removal was illegal. And that's two court victories for me against establishment running political parties in this country.
The Leadership Election Organization Committee, the LEOC, can still ban you, as you know. Are you concerned they will?
Well, it shouldn't be the case, Evan, if you're neutral officials running a race. And we've seen other candidates make inflammatory statements that make mine pale in comparison. I simply said I disagreed with some public statements, and we haven't seen sanctions being placed on Peter MacKay or other candidates in this race when they've been criticized for their campaign communications. It begs the question, why did I get fined $100,000 when I was in third place in the race and climbing rather quickly? So I don't know if they're going to keep this $100,000 penalty in place. You know, I don't know why they felt my campaign communications warranted a $400,000 buy-in and the others $300,000. I don't know why they made me go to court so they can comply with their own rules, especially on the campaign donations, Evan. So there's a lot of questions left to answer.
Jim, the fact is that they said you were a bigot. This is why. They allege you're a bigot. They booted you after Aaron O'Toole said that you attacked his campaign chair, Waleed Solomon. He said it was bigoted. The Urban Alliance on Race Relations called your responses to those criticisms deeply racist. After you wrote, "Say no to Sharia law, stop Aaron O'Toole." Why should conservatives who regard you as a bigot, why should they want you in their race?
One guy defined me as a bigot, and that was the CR of this race. And I'm offended by the notion. You know, my wife's Belinda Carhalios. She's the only conservative in Ontario politics, federally or provincially, to be recognized by the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. I've been maligned for 4 years in conservative politics from the establishment at the top, and they've found every opportunity to get me in a gotcha moment, to malign me for asking them to hold to their own rules and run fair elections. So if we want to continue the maligning here on TV, that's fine. But one guy, the CRO, made that allegation in his findings because Aaron O'Toole thought I was a threat. And just to clarify, I'm sure you saw the email Aaron O'Toole wrote about Sharia law. He called it a threat to Canadian values and our democracy. All I did was quote his campaign chair and say, I disagree with his public statements, and I've been maligned from the top for 4 years. So they had their cup of coffee for 2 months with those allegations.
And I get but what you said was a 13-year-old communication about Waleed Solomon. Just so our viewers know, I know you and he disagree on issues. He worked with Patrick Brown. He was promoting a carbon tax in Ontario. I know you're very much against the carbon tax. So obviously you got some kind of, you wanted to axe the tax, but you got some axe to grind with him. When you said no Sharia, stop Sharia law, stop Aaron O'Toole, they regarded that as a smear. And that's your responsibility. Do you think that, let me ask you this then, would you repeat that line of attack again?
There was nothing wrong with my communications, especially because 2 days later, Aaron O'Toole sent an email out saying he found Sharia law to be a threat to Canadian values. I never attacked Waleed Solomon personally. He had specific quotes in a newspaper 13 years ago. He has some from 3 years ago I could have used on the same subject of Sharia banking. I personally disagree with it. Our policy declaration in our party said we are not for religious or cultural courts or tribunals. That's our position in our Conservative Party of Canada. I thought I could campaign on a policy and a communication in line with our policy declaration. Aaron O'Toole thought the best way to counter that is to get me punted out of the race. I don't know what that shows about his response to it, but I am certainly concerned about the CRO in this race deciding he was going to sanction me $100,000, and there's been no sanction levied against any other candidates in this race. Evan, you got to ask yourself, why is that?
Well, I mean, to be candid, one other potential leadership candidate was given the boot, as you know, from the race for his comments on transgender and homosexuality. But let me just ask you this. You got to raise now $100,000 extra because of the fine. You have 2 weeks to do it. You can't use the party list. Jim Karahalios, do you think you can get in the race? And if you get in the race, you know, who will you, and you don't win, do you know who you'll support?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should bet against me, Evan, because the cream always rises to the top. But raising the $100,000 requires the party to receive the $100,000. So are they going to play ball? Are they going to go to the post office and collect $20,000 of checks that I sent them that they've had sit there for 2 months? Are they going to open up a donor portal so I can raise the money? Are they going to play ball and run a fair race and apply the rules across the board for all the candidates? That's a question for them. I've always been confident in my campaign, and I have thousands of people across this country. We were the third campaign to get the $300,000 without the party lists, Evan. We were
okay.
It's too bad.
So just before I let you go, Jim.
Sure, Evan.
Just quickly, in the wake of all this stuff, would you apologize for that comment to Waleed Solomon and put all that behind you?
I am against Sharia banking. Waleed Solomon is in favor of Sharia banking. That is a policy disagreement that you can have in a leadership race. I did not attack him personally. That's the truth of the matter, Evan. Thanks.
Jim, always good to have you on the program, sir. I appreciate that. And we'll find out in 2 weeks if you get back in the race. Jim, that's Jim Karahalios, who he's got to raise another $100,000 to do it. So we'll see what happens there. Coming up, what's the impact of Dr. Theresa Tam's about face on face masks? The press gallery standing by to discuss it. Stay with us.